I haven't learned a damn thing. I do it every
Mid-season
time.
form.
Seriously, I have not learned a damn thing. All right, welcome to the first of 82 and perhaps more. We're hoping for more. It's good for us. It's good for you. Before Floor, it's the Biscayne Bay Brewing Before Floor show, also sponsored by our friend over at markbrownpa.com. We'll tell you more about him in a minute. And we've got the full crew now. Our producer, Alejandro Villegas, Greg Sylvander next to me. The bottom row, Jonathan Ramlikan, Ricky J. Mark, and Brady Hawk. It's the same crew that took you through last season. We're hoping this season is a little bit more interesting. I expect it will be. I'm wearing the mask because I'm at the arena. Been out here for a few hours. Got an opportunity to watch Kyle Lowry warm up a little bit, Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, but also Victor Oladipo dressed out, taking some shots, somewhat stationary, but seems to be moving around pretty well. I know, Brady, you've seen that at the practices and some of the things that have been going on there, so people are excited about that. But obviously tonight is about the Heat and the Bucks. We're going to tell you first about the sponsors, though. You just saw Biscayne Bay Brewing. That is the official beer sponsor of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, also the Miami Marlins. And if you're here at the arena, they've got stands now on the 300 level and on the main concourse. That is our other sponsor, our friend Mark Brown. You can find him at markbrownpa.com. That's where you want to go if you need estate planning of any type. It may seem like a big thing, but it's very important, okay? You got to go out there, whether you have kids, you don't have kids, you want to know what's going to happen if something happens to you. He's the guy to talk to. Big Miami sports fan, but more importantly, really, really good office. They handled a couple of closings for me recently and did a great job, including when the other side of the deal was completely incompetent. They somehow figured out a way to make it work. So go out and Mark Brown PA, that's M-A-R-C, brownpa.com. That's where you go, again, if you need a title or anything done in that regard, or, again, if you need estate planning or any other legal services. So reach out there. We're going to get started here. Heat Bucks tonight. Giannis came through, got to watch the new free throw form. It only took him 4 seconds to get some shots up. He was taking some threes, watched Chris Middleton a little bit. But that's about all that's playing for the Bucks tonight, right, Brady?
Yeah, Drew Holiday out, Brook Lopez out. So I think we're going to see something that Miami can exploit. And I think the first thing to mention is that we saw in that first game that Drew Holiday, guys like Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Middleton early saw themselves on the bench together, which is something Miami had an issue with all of last season. When Jimmy and Bam went to the bench together, everything kind of fell apart. I think you can, maybe to the same extent that Miami has to try to exploit those minutes when Middleton and Giannis are on the sideline together, they're going to have guys step up. And obviously, it's only the second game for them over there. So it's going to be interesting. I think there's a lot of things that Miami can attack. And now we don't have to hear the Brook Lopez, Bam Adebayo stuff. It's just got to be Bam Adebayo attacking from the jump and not having to hear any of those playoff narratives.
Yeah, I mean, Greg, that's the big thing tonight, right? Isn't it Bam? I mean, you cleared out all the bigs, right? There's no excuses. I just went over on Bam, 18.5 points on Prize Picks. I would expect it. He's been hearing about it all offseason, right? Not aggressive enough against this team. And now the guy that was giving him trouble isn't even out there, right? I mean, we talk about state and red tonight. Isn't that Bam?
Unless Giannis goes nuclear and they have to put Bam on him for extended stretches to slow him down, like that would be the only circumstance where I could say maybe the scoring burden would go elsewhere. But otherwise, no, this is a Bam night for sure. Although they're missing Brook Lopez and Drew Holiday, I see some random scrub Heat killers on this roster that we could likely get into later. So I'm still not taking this team lightly. I think it's going to be interesting, particularly to watch Bam's aggression and also how Tyler comes out. So those are the things I'm really keyed in on tonight, but particularly the story of the night is Bam Adebayo, no doubt.
I'm going to get to Ricky here in a second. Jonathan, what is the biggest thing you want to see carry over from the preseason?
Just multiple dimensions to our offense. Last year, we were so limited on offense. It was just a dribble handoff, and everything came off of that. I feel like players are going to be able to show more parts of their game now, and they're going to be able to do a lot of different things. Like with Bam, he'll be able to, just instead of standing at the top of the three-point line doing a dribble handoff with Duncan, he'll be able to operate out of the pick and roll. Maybe, Kyle Lowry is going to put him in good spots. And as far as Duncan, he's going to be able to, be the recipient of all these other players pulling gravity away from him. And vice versa as well. So I just want to see the different layers of our offense and how Coach Spo is going to utilize Kyle Lowry. First time in my lifetime as a Heat fan having to get to watch a true point guard.
Well, because you're younger than me. I got to see one, but it's been a long time. Everybody keeps reminding me how old I am, including Gabe Vincent, who was mocking me. Because when Tim Hardaway came, that was the year that Gabe Vincent was born. But let's get to it, Ricky. Let's put this into some kind of context. Because, I mean, we saw Milwaukee the other night kind of dismantle the Nets, when they were fully healthy. And I know there's no Kyrie, but, I mean, those are supposedly the two best teams in the conference. Ben Simmons took his ball and went home, so it looks like Philadelphia is going to be a mess for a little while. You can't make a statement in game one when the other team's not playing, maybe 3 or 4 of their most important players. But what is the significance of Miami, winning after what happened in the playoffs last year?
Well, I think a variety of things. First things first, if last season taught us anything, it's that every single game matters. To the untrained eye, it might just be a regular season opener. But the reality is this could have tiebreaker implications somewhere down the line. We don't know if someone could get hurt. We don't know if Ben Simmons might end up coming back and playing wonderfully. We don't know if suddenly Kyrie's perspective might not be as flat as it used to be. These things are all a variety. It's a variety of different things. Like right now, we've got an Eastern Conference that is so talented, quite frankly. Being the 7th seed this season won't necessarily mean you're bad. It just means that the other teams ahead of you are just that much better by a game or two. So I think this will go a long way towards building the confidence of a lot of the players on this team that had a rough go of it last season.
Yeah, Ricky, I'm with you. To me, this is the first time that I think we can look at the East and the West in about 20 years and say there are more good teams in the East. I think. I think you're going about 10 deep with competitive teams at this point, and some really interesting teams. Greg, to pivot back on this, you talk about Bam and what has to be proven here, but also we've seen in the first couple of games in the regular season that some of the guys who performed really well in the preseason, it really didn't carry over. With the Jordan Poole had become this star with the Warriors, didn't really look so great in game one. I feel like with Tyler all season, there's going to be this, okay, keep doing it, right? Confidence is a fragile thing. Also, faith from the fan base is a fragile thing.
No, it's very true. I think that, unfortunately, Tyler will probably, until the Heat win, and I don't know what win means because they were just in the damn finals, but he's always going to be kind of that carrot that's dangled to get whatever superstar is that everyone's clamoring for. So he's always going to be playing under the "what have you done for me lately" card, and so that's going to apply starting tonight. And Jordan Poole wasn't so bad. He scored 20. I know he was 8 for 18, so it carried over a little. But no, I'm joking. Pivoting back to what you're saying there, it is interesting. I do think Tyler, though, the way he looked in the preseason, to me, it wasn't just a hot shooting streak. Like, you could see some very fundamental things that were different. So to me, that stuff, it better damn carry over.
Brady, looking at the Bucks tonight, we talk about what the Heat can do. If you're Milwaukee, let's flip it around here. Okay, you don't have your point guard, you don't have your 2 guard who started in the playoffs before he got hurt against the Heat, and DiVincenzo. Obviously, Connaughton's taking a little bit of a bigger role, and you don't have your bigs. So if you're Milwaukee, what is the path to victory tonight?
I think you're going to see a lot of doubles flying at guys like Lowry and Bam. I think they're going to try to make Jimmy shoot the 3 probably as much as possible. I think a lot of teams are going to try to do that when he's playing off the ball. But as we saw in that last preseason game, Jimmy didn't play off the ball much. Like, he was going, when Lowry was on the floor, he went and got the ball and he was facilitating the offense. He was getting to the rim, getting to the foul line. Like, I think they're going to try to exploit the few stretches where Jimmy's kind of playing in that corner. And then if you flip it the opposite way, I want to say that I think Jimmy, this is the time where we can see the defensive lineups with how they kind of fit in. I think this is setting up for a game where Jimmy can really thrive on that end because they're going to send a bunch of doubles at Giannis constantly, especially with no Drew Holiday. You kind of saw Brooklyn tried to do it, but it didn't really work. I think Miami's going to probably take that to another level where you see Giannis get the ball in the post. They're going to fly 2 guys at him every time he does that, and they're going to make him make that extra pass. So I think both ways it's going to be interesting defensively, and this could be one of those games already starting off the year where it's low in scoring.
Jonathan, you mentioned it's the first time in your life you got to watch a true point guard. Again, all apologies to Mario Chalmers and Norris Cole and the others who've come through here in recent years. But we've seen some debuts from guys down here. When he get new players, they tend to debut well in this building. I feel like there's a lot of them that have been memorable. What to you would be a successful debut for Kyle Lowry tonight?
I think it would have to be like somewhere north of 10 assists and a win, right? I think if we see that, and of course I'm being a little high on him just because I want to set that expectation a little high. But I think, having no Drew Holiday, being on the opposite end guarding him is going to allow for him to be a little more free flowing and finding where he wants to be a little bit more. He's going to be able to probably get some free throws, having smaller guys like George Hill, Grayson Allen guard him. And I can see him just having an overall good impact on the game. We're going to see this team move at either two speeds. It's either going to be really fast or they're going to take it down and be really tactical and grind it out. I don't think there's going to be really much of a middle game. And I think Kyle Lowry is going to be the guy that dictates that. So if he gives us like 18 points, 10 assists, and at least a charge drawn just for the culture, I think that's a good night for Kyle.
All right, going to pivot here real quick with Ricky. We are going to be introducing 5-hour rewind soon. I promise everybody that. This is one of those topics that I want to get into, and then we're going to get into picks for tonight. The 75 list came out. I don't think it's any surprise, obviously, that Dwayne is on it. Shaq is on it. We knew that. Zoe and Tim and Bosh are not on it. I don't think Tim is a big surprise. Do you view? I tweeted out if Alonzo Mourning and Chris Bosh don't have their careers interrupted, okay, and obviously Zoe came back, but he came back in a different role, and Chris, eventually had to let it go. Were they top 75 players in your view?
Well, I think if Zoe never got hurt, you're not talking about Dwight Howard's defensive resume outclassing Zoe's. I think he gets a couple more Defensive Player of the Years. Zoe was arguably in his prime. He was second in the MVP vote in the 1999 regular season, finished second to Karl Malone, and for all intents and purposes, he was trending upwards despite I think approaching 30. Yes. Chris Bosh, it's a little tougher because you're talking about an era, and I know he's a Hall of Famer and he absolutely deserves it, but you're also talking about an era where, there were a ton of really good power forwards, and he didn't cross 20 points a game after 2010. He would have been solid. I don't know if he reaches that top 75 because the top 75, it's so good. It's so good, and being left off of that list doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad player. It could also just mean you were a perennial all-star that was just a tier beneath some of the absolute legends, the GOATs, the gods, so to speak, like Dirk or KG or who, yes, played on the Celtics. Timmy, the guy from Utah that we don't talk about anymore for obvious reasons. And, it's nothing against Bosh, but I don't see that having happened.
Yeah, and of course, Ray Allen makes it. They put him in a Celtics uniform, which we know is blasphemy because
the full list is out now.
They don't really embrace the full list. So we are going to do more of this as we go forward. Can we? Because I'm doing this on my little phone here. Can we call up the Christian Cardis comment again? Because if you guys use the super chats, we try to read the comments. Let me see if I can actually see that. It says, "Are you all taking the over under at 5 screams at the TV?" Or what is that from? Is that from us?
No, at the game, I'm going over, but screams of happiness.
Not till the playoffs for me. It's the regular season. I'm not getting high or low.
Over for me. Definitely over for me. I'm gonna get hyped. This is game one of a great season.
Well, I do.
PJ would go over.
I will say this from being in the building tonight.
I did stream yesterday.
There is an energy tonight. It's significant, and I think it's two reasons. Well, 3 reasons. Okay, I think the first reason is that this is a competitive team. We know that. Okay, I think you go into a season knowing you have a chance to compete or you don't. This one does. Okay, but also things are very much back to normal here. I mean, I'm looking right here. If you look behind me over this way. They got the food room, or I'm sorry, I'm looking the wrong direction. You got the food room over there, okay? They've got, we're back in the interview room. We're back in the media room. The fans are all here again. I mean, the only real difference is the masks and no locker room, but it feels, all the regular ushers are here. It feels normal again. I think people are excited about that. And the third thing is I think there's a recognition, and I was talking to a certain Heat official who I will not name, and I said, over the past 25 years, how many times has the Dolphins season been over by the time that the Heat season started? And he said about 20. and that's so. So I just feel like there is kind of an energy and waiting for sort of a winner down here. All right, let's go around real quick. And again, we appreciate our sponsors, markbrownpa.com. Make sure you reach out if you need estate planning or you're doing real estate deal and you need to get your closing done correctly. Make sure you mention 5 reasons. Of course, Biscayne Bay Brewing. But let's go around. Does everybody have the Heat winning tonight, I would assume, under the circumstances?
Yes, but I'll take it a step further. So the Heat and Bucks have played 15 times in the last 2 years. 10 of those 15 have been decided by double digits. That includes playoff games. So Heat by double digits is where I'm going.
All right. I'm going to let Ricky go last again. Brady, you go.
Yeah, I like Miami's matchup this year against Milwaukee, just as a whole, not even with this game. I think I compare it to the Bubbles team when they had guys like Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala, Bam Adebayo, Solomon Hill, that they could throw at Giannis. I think they feel more comfortable now that you have PJ Tucker next to Bam in that front court. So it's not just him on an island having to guard guys like Brook Lopez and Giannis. So I like the front court depth they have to at least throw at guys defensively. So I think I'll go with the win tonight. And the stat I'll go with, I think Jimmy has 3+ steals.
That's a good prize pick stat. You can actually bet that one. Go to and you're qualified to do it. Alejandro, Alejandro, what are you thinking?
I'm going with the Heat, but by 3 points or so. I'm not as confident as Greg tonight.
we got a tight game tonight. Jonathan?
Bam leads the Heat in scoring. Kyle gets 10+ assists. Shout out to Greg Sylvander from the Heat Notes. Bam's going to get his 1,000th career assist in this game, and it's going to be a Heat win by double digits.
I have the Heat by 12 tonight. Ricky, what do you think?
Ooh.
Well, contrary to last season, the Heat are actually pretty good this year. I think the Heat can win this tonight, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Yeah, I think the Heat will win tonight. They're better. They're better.
How many points, Ricky? How many points?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. I mean, it could be a 40-point blowout or a really close win. You know how these two teams are. It's hot and cold. I don't know. Yeah. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I think tonight the one guy to watch. I mean, Giannis is going to do what he's going to do. I went over on Chris Middleton's points at Prize Picks.
Good call.
22.5. We know historically he has gotten off against this team. Not always so efficient, but he gets off, and he's going to get a lot of looks tonight without Holiday in there, without Brook getting some of those touches that he gets, which is some of the secondary looks. Middleton's going to get those looks tonight. So I think he's going to score, but I do think that the Heat win by 12. All right, thanks again to our sponsors, markbrownpa.com, Biscayne Bay Brewing. Check out Post Up 5R after the game, of course, hosted by Royal Shepherd. We think he's, I don't know, he's Ben Simmons. I'm not sure. We're not sure if he's actually coming back or not. I don't know.
Can't let you come at one of my kings like that.
I don't know though. He's mercurial. Is Royal. You just don't know from night to night.
He'll be.
But
there.
It'll be fun. Check out Gad and Ariel, Brian, and the rest of the crew on Post Up. It's getting loud here. Have a good night. We'll be back for the next Before Floor.
Let's go Heat.
All right. Thank you for joining us here on our pregame show. We're going to leave you with a special program or special show that we're doing from our friends from 5 Reasons. Let me take this down real quick. Let me read a couple of comments that came in right after we just finished our pregame show. So, Alex, thank you for sending your messages. Our friends from Miami Heat UK TV, thank you for joining us today since the beginning of the show. Ariel, I'm trying to have Ariel on a show also just to talk about the Miami Heat a little bit, and maybe after the first week we're gonna get him here on the YouTube channel. If not, you can also watch him on the Full Court Press show. Talk to Enrique. Hey, Royal's gonna be back doing the post-up show at some point. These 6 guys walking bar, the bartender says, you didn't finish the joke, so you're not getting in here. So now we're gonna go to play you guys this short show that we did with our friends from Prize Picks, just to talk a little bit of tonight's game and what type of picks we can make. So thank you very much for joining us. And look at Dean. Ethan, pay Greg some more so he can replace that headset. So this year we're gonna do a little bit of getting some money, but this time just for Greg and not for Ethan. So here we go. I hope you enjoy the show, and I'll see you right after it.
All right, welcome into Prize Picks on 5 on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm wearing a mask because I'm inside FTX Arena, formerly American Airlines Arena, down here in Miami, where the Heat are going to be playing the Bucks tonight. Make sure to catch up with Before Floor. We'll have coverage here from the arena and the 5 on the Floor podcast and Post Up 5R. But right now, we're going to tell you a little bit about Prize Picks. We're shifting gears here. Still going to do the NFL stuff, but we're going to get into some NBA tonight. Of course, with the Heat playing the Bucks, we're going to start there. The Bucks, though, don't have their full complement of players, so we're going to talk about it. Not even close. So we're talking about that. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick at 5 Reasons Sports. Right above me, you got David Friedman. You can follow him at Taco About Sports. And we've got our guy, David Eversole, at David W. Eversole on Twitter. So we're going to go through some of these props. Again, strange circumstances tonight. No Brook Lopez, no Drew Holiday, no Bobby Portis, obviously no Dante DiVincenzo, but they're really thin, the Bucks are. It's pretty much Giannis, Middleton, and sort of their third teamers tonight against a full complement of Heat players, with the exception of Oladipo, won't be back yet. So this changes things a lot. David, I'm going to go David Friedman on this. You did not, oh, by the way, before we do this, use the code 5. That's why I have it there in my name there. Use the code 5, F-I-V-E, to get your bonus match when you sign up at Prize Picks. And, of course, you don't have to just play the Heat game. You can play all the NBA games, NFL, etc., if you'd like to on Prize Picks. But, David, I'll go to Mr. Friedman first here. You really didn't like this board tonight.
I'm not a big fan of the beginning of the game for beginning of the season, and then on top of that, the Heat games in general are kind of funny to me with the way they play. And then, like you said, the Bucks, you don't know what to expect. But I think we can all agree tonight is a must-win game. Right?
First game of the season, we've agreed. I mean, the reality is with their schedule, David, it probably is actually. I mean, at least to set a tone for the season. But I mean, yeah, it's a bit early for that, I would think.
No, I know. I took, like, I was joking around. I cherry picked a little bit. I went Kyle Lowry over on assist. I think he's at 6.5 assists. I don't know. It just seemed like he's gonna get over 6.5, and that's my reason.
I mean, he was getting 7 assists in the first half of preseason games.
Right. So I mean, if he fools me game one, I'll be sad. But I don't think it's that high of a number there on him, and especially when they have all those big men out, like you can see a lot of assists to Bam, and easy stuff tonight. So I think that's a lock.
Well, and before we go to Eversole here, that was my reasoning for picking Bam tonight. I go over on Bam at 18.5 points tonight. I think after all of the offseason talk about him needing to be more aggressive, and particularly with the struggles he had against Milwaukee last year, with no Brook Lopez tonight, there is no excuse. I would anticipate he'll be aggressive enough to push over 18.5 points. Eversole, what do you see?
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with you because that line for Bam was at 17.5 not too long ago. So I think he's trending in that direction as well. I actually went with Hero over on total fantasy points, 24. But I also feel he could go over on standard scoring as well, 14.5 points. I think it's a favorable matchup. You're not going to catch Milwaukee at a better time. Banged up on a back-to-back. I think it's going to be a pretty good effort from the Heat early, and I'm looking for a big game from him and also from Duncan Robinson. So I took a Hero over 14.5 points and also over 24 fantasy points.
And I think we got to make it clear, there's going to be a lot of noise in the numbers early in the season. It typically is the case in the NFL, too, until things settle out. So you can find some bargains if you want to play it. We all tend to go over on things. But, of course, you can also go under. You can do power play, combine players together if you want to try to earn more, or go flex play and essentially get some of your money back if you don't end up hitting on both of them. Is there anything else that kind of struck you guys tonight?
I mean, I was just on the other games. I did put a 5 pick in, but my other pick on my 3 power is Steph Curry over, I think, 5.5 assists. I don't know. He's just like, you can see that the other day they're back to passing the ball. They're back to being the Warriors. So to me, I think that number will start to shoot up on him. But I'm good there.
Yeah, I think the value on him is in the assist number, maybe not the points number.
Right.
At this point to try to find it. Eversole anything for you?
Yeah, I went with Andrew Wiggins over 1.5 3-pointers.
Okay,
also
that's
from
fair.
Golden State.
Now, I played Wiggins the other night and lost with him, I guess because I didn't recognize the minutes
Welcome
restriction.
to the club.
Yeah, well, the minutes restriction, I think. I mean, not that he played particularly well, but the minutes restriction hurts. That's my only concern with the Warriors early this season is that they've got a couple guys in the minutes restriction. But I'm with you. They did look a little bit more like themselves than they looked last season. So that's definitely the case. PrizePicks.com is where you go. Use the code 5, F-I-V-E. Of course, but there's a Thursday night football game tonight. Typically, we focus on that. But the Browns have more players out than the Bucs do, so I'm not going to touch that game at all. I don't feel very good about that. We will be doing these prior to Heat games throughout the season and the rest of the NBA. Again, make sure you use that code FIVE.
All right, that was a little show that we're doing with our friends from Prize Picks. Remember, you can go to prizepicks.com or use our promo code 5FIVE, and there you can start playing, and they're going to match whatever your deposit is up to $100. So go ahead and do it. Not only the NBAs, you can play MLB, NFL, everything together. Soccer, if you're a soccer fan, Inter Miami or European soccer, whatever, MLS, whatever you're into, golf, everything is there on the Prize Picks app. You can download the app and play there. So we're going to go back a little bit to this matchup for tonight. The Miami Heat facing the Milwaukee Bucks starting at 8 p.m. This game is going to be broadcasted, I'm sorry, on the League Pass. It's not nationally televised. So too bad for the NBA not televising this particular game. They're going to be having on TV the Dallas Mavericks Atlanta Hawks game that's starting in a couple of minutes on TNT, and also the Los Angeles Clippers against the Golden State Warriors that's starting at 10 p.m. That's also nationally televised on TNT. So let's go back a little bit and remember or remind you guys of the last four matchups with this Milwaukee Bucks. As you may remember, May 15, the first game of that series where the Miami Heat got swept 122-108. That was the first game of that postseason. The Miami Heat finished with a 39-32 records, 39 wins and 32 losses before getting into the playoffs as the sixth team on the Eastern Conference. That game, the leading scorer for the Milwaukee Bucks was Chris Middleton, 21 points, but the actual most efficient player was Giannis Antetokounmpo with that minus of 19, plus 19 for Giannis Antetokounmpo, 18 rebounds that night, and of course that was the first of the four wins that the Milwaukee Bucks got in that series to sweep the Miami Heat. Remember that particular game, as Duncan Robinson said in his podcast, felt like the Milwaukee Bucks got that weight, so much weight off their shoulders, and that allowed them to actually go ahead and complete the sweep. So the second game of that series, it was in overtime. The Milwaukee Bucks won 109-107. The second game, that was the closest game of the series for sure. And that particular game, the leading scorer for the Milwaukee Bucks was Chris Middleton, this time with 27 points, 26 for Giannis Antetokounmpo, 20 for Drew Holiday, who also had a very important game in that second game. Duncan Robinson, 24, and Goran Dragic, former Miami Heat player, now the Toronto Raptors, with 25. Those were the best two scorers for the Miami Heat that night. So the second game of the series, that was the one that just talked. We have some comments here. We're going to read them right before we go. The game is about to start in 30 minutes or so. So the third game of that series, the Milwaukee Bucks 113, the Miami Heat 84. That was here in Miami. We all remember how the Miami Heat went up at some point in that game, and then it just went downhill from there. That was on May 27th. Another big win by the Milwaukee Bucks, and then they finish it off on May 29th, a couple of days later, 120-103 to sweep the Miami Heat, and they later ended up being the champions. So the Miami Heat has lost to the champions in the last couple of seasons. So let's go read some messages before we go up and get ready for the game. The Miami Heat facing the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Let's see. Todd Miller says the party has started since Ethan Skolnick's here. Thank you for commenting. Let's go. Dwayne says, let's go Heat. How many members? The 5 reasons. A lot of members. Don't worry about it. Miami Gangs. This is our friend Hero GC Plus. Kent Baker. Miami going to make everybody proud tonight. Says 6 members. Christian Cater says, if Ethan is paying anyone extra, it's himself, so he can replace his Wi-Fi router. So yeah, did you guys notice uh, how his signal was way better when he was at FTX Arena now, not American Airlines Arena anymore. Bucks don't have Drew and we don't have Oladipo. Yes, they are missing a lot of players, not just Drew Holiday. So that should be an advantage for the Miami Heat tonight. Alejandro, why are you reminding me? Just a quick reminder. Those are the closest matchups that we have with the Milwaukee Bucks. So I had to go through it real quick. Already wept to know over that series. But that one wasn't really painful. I don't know. We almost swept them the year after, the season after, because it wasn't quite a year. And it's about the same. I think it was going to be more painful for them if the sixth seed went ahead and eliminated them again. It was more of a revenge and something they actually had to do to show the rest of the league that what happened in the bubble was just something different. But here we go. So our friend EFY says go Bucks. Kent Baker says go Heat. Alex M says if he says what up? Whatever, Alex. Thank you for your comment. And I imagine that the Wi-Fi being used by 20,000 plus people gives him better connection than his home internet. Yeah, that's true. That's the reality. So thank you guys for joining us during this first pregame of the season here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Remember, subscribe if you haven't done so. Leave your comments, leave your messages here. Give it a thumbs up. That's going to help us to keep building up the challenge. The idea is to get to 14,000 subscribers right before the season. We're really close, so we hope you can tell your friends, your Miami Heat friends, to come join us, not only for the pregame show. We're also going to be doing the post-up right after the game. We're going to be posting the 5 on the floor episode right after that. So thank you very much for joining us. And remember, we're going to be producing a lot of content during this season here on the Miami on-demand channel, the 5 Reasons Sports Network. All right. Thank you, Christian. Thank you. And thank you, my tocayo, Alejandro. And we'll see you guys sometime soon here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Have a good one. Enjoy the game. And we'll talk to you right after the game on the post-up show hosted by Royal Shepherd. Have a good one.